If he was held civilly liable for a woman, would you still support him?
You're talking about E. Jean Carroll?
Yeah. Who the hell just took a screenshot?
I did. I was going to send it to my brother later.
I don't really care that he was on Epstein Island.
You don't give a shit that Donald Trump went on to Epstein's Island.
Well, he probably wasn't anyway.
But if he did, you wouldn't care?
Probably not.
They don't know what to say anymore. They're so crazy. They're starting to defend going to Epstein's Island. You
just has a
literally
better
just
will to
said
power.
an insane
You read books.
maniac is better than any woman.
Yeah. Well, women are inferior, and that can be philosophically.
I have a
backed up.
question. Would you rather vote for Kamala Harris or Hitler?
Depends.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
I did.
Why so?
Honestly, it was mostly trying to choose the lesser of two evils. It really was.
And you still
It
support
was a
him?
hard vote. I support some of the stuff that
If you could go back in time, would you still vote for him?
honestly, I think I would, but depends, you know.
How do you feel about what
I'd
Elon
like to
Musk
see
dropped
the
today?
next. That was pretty crazy, honestly. I mean, we all saw the breakup coming, but I did not think it was going to be that dramatic. I mean, maybe y'all did. I'm not as inversed in this stuff, but you know, I liked what Elon Musk had started in terms of, you know, Doge, and the idea of it was good. I think it was a poor choice to put him in charge of that because it kind of really made it worse. I think not just because basically just because it was Elon Musk, like, you know, not a great guy to put the face of that. But I did respect what Elon Musk said and how, you know, he didn't just eat shit and say, yeah, let's vote for this bill. I mean, you know.
Okay, so then do you still support Donald Trump even if it is the case that he's on the Epstein files?
I mean, no, but it depends. Like,
No.
you know,
Okay,
if he's on
do
the
you
Epstein
do you
files
believe he's on
because
the Epstein
he
files
did fly
given
on the
that Elon
plane.
said it?
I mean, the way Elon said it insinuated that it was, you know, more than flying on the plane and meeting him like we already knew. But, you know, I don't know that Elon Musk would necessarily know that. He tends to start drama for, you know, no reason. So,
okay, so you don't believe it?
I mean, I could see it, you know, if you look at his history and his character. I didn't vote for Trump because I thought he was a good person.
So
I
you
was
know that. So even if you know that he's a horrible person that's involved in child, you'd still support him.
no.
Okay,
That's
so then,
not what he said.
okay, if he was held civilly liable for a woman, would you still support him?
You're talking about E. Jean Carroll?
Yeah. Who the hell just took a screenshot?
I did. I was gonna send it to my brother later because he watches your live,
Oh.
and I really don't. And I came on here and I hit request or whatever it is. And
Does he
didn't
agree
think
with
that-
you or does he agree with me?
I would say he's in the middle. And let me say, it's a small middle because I agree with you on, I don't know if I would say a majority of things because I don't know you that well, but I've seen you on the Jubilee thing. And I actually just saw TikTok before your live popped up of Charlie Kirk when you actually got to talk to him. And that was just like awful. He's losing by kicking you out, you know, in 30 seconds. I don't think any honest person would look at that and say that. I think there should be a debate because I'm not saying he would lose in a debate necessarily, but I think it should be more than that. But I do think you asking him the Elon Nazi salute, like, I don't think that's very important either. But anyway,
I mean, I do think that, but like, I mean, now he's not gonna defend Elon in the same type of way. So I think it's a very funny clip in retrospect, given that this breakup occurred. I would love to hear
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk's thoughts on the breakup.
Yeah, that would be interesting because he seems to have not frayed at all away from anything Donald Trump has done. So that would be interesting. But no, so basically lesser of two evils.
Like why
I
so?
have some regrets.
What okay?
But it's hard to
What
say because you
motivates you
just
still
don't
to
know.
believe that he is the lesser of two evils? Like what's so bad about Kamala Harris that leans you towards the other side?
A lot of it was RFK.
What about RFK?
I liked the way he spoke about making America healthier and actually speaking up about that. And that's
Does he do
something
that if
that
he denies science? Like he actively denies science within plenty of ways. So he can say like, "Oh yes, we want America to be healthier," but he's not actually doing it if he's not utilizing science. And especially like Donald Trump. Donald Trump believes the climate's going to start cooling and that science just doesn't know it yet. So if your health is not based on science, well then it's not actual health.
you're talking about vaccines or more than that.
I'm talking about like even food. Like if it's not determined based upon like what's the studies are, what the evidence
Like
is,
what?
well then it's not going to be based upon like facts and evidence. Like
Like
what's
what?
most healthy for food?
I mean, like what is he denied in terms of food?
I'm just saying if he doesn't believe in science, he's probably not going to believe with other things. Not necessarily saying
Okay.
anything with food in particular. I mean, he does believe certain things like seed oils are bad and stuff like that. Like those types of things, which there's not really good evidence to indicate on mass scale.
Yeah, I can see that. But, the
And
question
then like the
was,
raw milk stuff. Remember that?
I don't know if I knew something about RFK and that, but I
Didn't
do
he like
know.
drink raw milk or something?
You want to do a shot of raw milk to
Sure.
toast this with me? All right.
Like
I
on
mean,
video.
I could see him advocating for people having the rights to sell raw milk, but, you know, he's also somebody who says make your own
But
choices.
isn't that like
you
not
know?
healthy?
Drinking raw milk.
Yeah. I don't think
No.
that's making America healthy again.
Good point.
So why'd you support Donald Trump?
Well, there's a few things. First, I'm anti DEI.
Okay. How do you feel about the Electoral College being DEI?
What do you mean?
The Electoral College is DEI. It's for diversity, equity, and inclusion of smaller states.
No, it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Well, I'm not talking about like states like in reference to that, but I'm talking about giving opportunity to people who don't deserve it.
Yeah, that would be like Donald Trump because he lost the popular vote and still won the election because of the Electoral College. So that's an example of Donald Trump being a DEI candidate. Noah Z did, and that's for the 2016 election, by the way. Noah Z, did you vote for Donald Trump?
I did indeed.
You support him
Um,
still?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let me ask both of you. How do you feel about Elon Musk dropping that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files?
it's a bunch of
Well, a big thing that I would say is we've had that list and what people did on that island for a while now, and there's just hasn't been a whole lot of like showing on like what people did or who was on that island a whole lot. And not everyone that went to that island, I would say, actually did those things on that island. There is a big chance that they did. I'm not saying that they didn't, but I'm sure that a lot of people that did go to that island didn't actually do those things that people say that they did.
So your defense is that Donald Trump went to the island, he just didn't do anything at the island.
I mean, there is. I mean, I haven't seen anything that actually shows that he's done anything, and
Really? Okay. So
yeah.
to clarify, him going to an island where they engage in child with a child that he literally said was a terrific guy and that he likes beautiful women as much as he does, many of them on the younger side, and he didn't know that child would be happening there.
I mean, like I said, I can't say for sure. I'm not 100% well versed on that subject. I just have a couple points that I would like to bring up about what Donald Trump has done that I agree with.
No, I just want to clarify. Like, you would support him in despite of the fact that he went to a island of child with a child.
If I can see foolproof evidence that he did things with children, if he helped him, if
So
he
being
knew
on
about
the so
that,
being on
then
the
I
island.
wouldn't. I
So
wouldn't
going to
agree.
the island is not enough for you.
Yeah, no, because like let's say you go to the hood, that doesn't mean that you went and shot.
What is this view? They're actually they don't know what to say anymore. They're so crazy. They're starting to defend going to Epstein's Island.
Well, he wasn't on the island.
So Donald Trump explicitly, right, was said to have been in the Epstein files according to Elon Musk. How do you feel about that?
Well, where's your proof? Off of what?
That's what Elon Musk said.
I don't really care about Elon Musk. Is Elon Musk the declaration of truth?
Well, he, according to his own perspective, is the reason why Donald Trump got elected. So wouldn't he have reason to not be biased
Okay,
against Donald
what does
Trump?
that have to do with anything? What if you said you were the reason he was elected? I don't really care what he has to say.
You don't think
That
that
doesn't hold
Elon
any
Musk
weight.
played a pivotal role in Donald Trump being elected?
Yeah, I think he plays a pivotal role. That doesn't mean he's the only reason he was elected.
Okay, sure, you could say that. I don't disagree with that, but I'm just saying from his own perspective, right, given that he was a pivotal role and he believes that it is the case that he is the sole reason that Donald Trump got elected, wouldn't he have actually reason to be biased towards Trump?
I mean, maybe. I guess you could argue
So then
that.
I don't know what this argument is to say that like he would be biased against Trump. If anything, there'd be reason to believe that he wouldn't have bias against Trump, so he would specifically do things in support of him.
Well, okay, that doesn't really matter anyway. I have other reasons. I don't really care that he was on Epstein Island.
You don't
I've
give a shit
actually,
that you don't give a shit that Donald Trump went onto Epstein's Island.
well, he probably wasn't anyway.
But if he did, you wouldn't care?
Probably not.
No, you wouldn't. You'd still vote for him.
Yeah.
This is why I mean cult members. You got two cult members on the live.
Well, I mean, I
You would
wouldn't
support Donald Trump even though he went to Epstein's Island. Can you imagine if you told any Trump supporter from like 2016 that these things were true about Donald Trump? Hell, if you said this, if you said this like 4 years ago, right, you would have been crucified for just trying to specifically demonize Donald Trump. All right, like
yeah,
it's
because
ridiculous.
of the public opinion. But tell me how it's bad. Define how it's bad.
To go to Epstein's Island.
Yeah, well, what if I went there and I had no prior knowledge of it and had no
If
idea?
you, wait, hold up. Let's just clarify. Let's just say in this circumstance, you were really good friends with Epstein, and that you also said that he's a terrific guy and he likes beautiful women as much as he does. Many of them on the younger side. So like those would be, for example, and they were like really good friends, right? And then he also went to this island where we now know had child. We now know that person that he was really good friends with is a child. What is the likelihood he didn't know?
Pretty high.
And if he did know,
extrapolating.
wait, so then if he did go and
I
he
think you're
found out, wait, if he
extrapolating.
did go and he found out, how come he didn't tell anyone?
Because he probably wouldn't want people knowing that information. That's fairly obvious.
He wouldn't want people to be held accountable for child.
Well, no shit if he was on the island.
So you think it's totally okay to like help those who children not go to prison by not telling on them explicitly when you are an incredibly rich person with lots of resources? You're a rich white man in America, orange, sorry, and for some reason you can't come out about that specifically when it is the case that you have information about this and also you want to become president.
Well, obviously.
And then
you're
he's
not.
also going to sit there and he's going to blame E. Jean Carroll for not coming out right away, by the way.
Well, this is an extreme. This has no relation to what I have actual things.
It's an
that have a
extreme.
problem.
This does have a relation. You support Donald Trump, a guy who, again, his best buddy just said was on the Epstein files.
Yeah, and exactly. And I'm sure every person in political power has done terrible things under the curtains, but that doesn't mean that they don't have bad policies. I mean, you can't just put the country down the shitter because you have to look at what they do morally.
You understand that it doesn't put the country down in the shitter to have Kamala Harris as president? Can you tell me what she did specifically that would cause that?
Well, I'm anti DEI, and second of
No,
all,
no. What specific Kamala Harris policy?
she's a woman.
So he will vote for a guy that is on the Epstein files, and he believes literally went to an island with a guy who's a child who was his good friend, right? Where they were doing child, who also was held civilly liable for a woman that bragged about walking into changing rooms of girls in his team state because he quote unquote owns the place to inspect them without their consent. Who said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years, whose tax policy explicitly adds trillions of dollars to the debt, increases taxes for the bottom 80% of Americans, decreases taxes for the top 20% disproportionately for the top 1%, explicitly cuts $880 billion of Medicaid in the next 10 years, $300 billion of food stamps. He doesn't believe in science. He says the climate's going to start cooling. That science just doesn't know it yet. And that guy is a better candidate to you than Kamala Harris just because she's a woman.
Yeah.
Just because she's a woman.
Well, yeah, and because he's powerful.
That
he's
you're comically
powerful.
you are actually comically insane, Jerry.
He
You
just has a
literally
better
just
will to
said
power.
an insane
You read books.
maniac is better than any woman.
Yeah. Well, women are inferior, and that can be philosophically.
I have
backed
a
up.
question. Would you rather vote for Kamala Harris or Hitler?
Depends. Depends on the scenario. Hitler before he did all that stuff.